You bet.
All right, there is bipartisan agreement among senators, though, on one point tonight, calling on China to immediately close all those wet markets. Let's bring in GOP Senator from Utah, Mike Lee, to talk about that and much more. Senator, good to have you back with us.
Thank you. It's good to be with you.
Okay, so let's start with China. We have from the national interest talking about the fact that America and China are still going to have to get along when this is over, saying the crisis will eventually pass, but there will be others, and they too will require Washington and Beijing to subordinate strategic competition to humanity's requirements. The pandemic has placed that imperative onto the sharpest possible relief. Senator, will they do it? Should we do it?
Look, I think no matter what, there are going to be dire consequences for China in this. This is a place that fostered the development of the virus to begin with and concealed its severity. And I think regardless of any action government takes, consumers themselves are going to take action. I expect government will take action as well, and we're going to see trade restricted for a time. And China is going to be a net loser in that.
Okay, let's talk about the fact that over on the Hill today, we thought the Senate might take some action. It didn't get done. The Secretary of Treasury, Mnuchin, has been talking with congressional leaders. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell had talked about the fact that they were trying to get something done by sort of a voice vote, unanimous consent, that could move this new funding along to replenish those coffers for small business loans. It didn't happen because Democrats came forward with their own list of what they wanted to add to that. Here's what the House Speaker had to say today.
You may have seen this morning that the stunt was performed by the Senate leader, knowing that it would fail. Many people who do not have banking relationships were going to be last in line. And that's why when they asked for more money, we said, well, let's help everybody here. Let's help the banks do what they're set to do.
She's not the only one calling out Leader McConnell. The top Democrat in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, said this in a tweet. Senator Mitch McConnell just blocked a bill that provides money for small businesses, hospitals, testing, and more. Instead of working with the House and Senate Democrats, he pulled a political stunt. They both used that same word, stunt. Senator, what happened on the floor today?
Well, first of all, it's very clear that there's Democratic collusion on what the message should be. What happened on the floor of the Senate today was disgraceful. The fact that Democrats came forward and refused to lend additional support for a program that just days ago, Shannon, they supported wholeheartedly. And they refused to support it today, knowing that millions of Americans are in need of this assistance, simply because they wanted to score additional points. They wanted to build government in the way they deem fit. This isn't right, and they know it.
Well, there are worries across the aisle about the price tags that we're talking about now, getting into $5-6 trillion in relief in some cases. Maya McGinnis, who is the president of Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, said this: it feels like every day now politicians are trying to use this national emergency to enact their favorite policies while avoiding paying for them. Now, we all agree that this is a dire moment in our nation's economy. But how do we get a handle on what we are doling out of taxpayers' dollars and how we eventually handle the debt and deficit that's being generated by the relief packages that so many people are counting on right now?
Look, Shannon, there's no question that we've got a debt and deficit problem. We do have to work our way out of this situation that we find ourselves in with the global pandemic. But the Democrats' solution to this was to add even more to the price tag and to cause this money to go even less far. That was wrong.
Okay, I want to ask you, too, because you were tracking something involving hospital beds. They are very valuable right now. Everybody keeping an eye, making sure that these are available in the various communities, especially those where they're having spikes. But there's now some kind of trade dispute or something going on regarding actual mattresses that are used for hospital beds. What can you tell us?
There is indeed. Look, there's a company called Leggett & Platt. They're a good company. They make good mattresses, but they've done a very bad thing here. They've filed a petition with the International Trade Commission. The net effect of which is to shut down the importation of mattresses at a time when we've got 50 to 70,000 mattresses that are needed in hospital rooms right now. The domestic manufacturers, led by Leggett & Platt, cannot manufacture anything close to that in the next 5 months. And so, look, they've made a mistake. They need to admit they were wrong. Everybody's entitled to a mulligan now and then, but they need one here. And they made a big mistake, and I think it's a mistake for them to be utilizing the ITC process to shut out competition in a way that's going to harm the American people during a global pandemic. limiting their access to hospital beds, which are an essential medical device needed for COVID-19 treatment.
Yeah, there's so many things that come along with this pandemic that we couldn't have foreseen even 6-8 weeks ago. So it gets complicated. All right, Senator, we're glad you are looking well after your own brush with the quarantine, and we hope to see the Senate get something together as quickly as possible for these small businesses. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Shannon.